ACCIO, amazing board games. Sometimes you just find yourself looking for something that is fun, right? Something that is not a huge overhead burden. Sometimes you just don't want 37 pages of rules to play a hack and slash crawler beer and pretzels-esque type game, right? We're looking back today at Wiz War. Now, this is Wiz War, the 8th edition. It may not come with a wand, but let me tell you why this game is a game that's amazing, and you're, frankly speaking, probably going to never own it, but you wish you probably could have. So you've heard it all before, but like The Simpsons said, who did it first? Well, FFG, with this 8th edition of Wiz War, they said, we're going to have you slinging spells, bringing the bling, fighting off your enemies, transporting, transforming, and doing everything else in between in this mage dueling King of Tokyo-esque vibe game where free for all, last one standing, or first one to the ever amazing amount of 2 points to win the game. And now that may sound completely underwhelming. You know, Chris, why would I even give this game a look-see? Why would I try and find a game that is out of print, hard to even locate a base game copy of, let alone the two amazingly, even more so out of print expansions for something I feel like has been replicated and done iterations and iterations of time since. Now, I'll admit I was a skeptic with this game. This game, in all rights, especially as we've seen games over the last couple years, show us that newer sometimes is better. I love newer games. Sometimes the games that have come out more recently are better than their predecessors. Aeon Press Odyssey is better than Kingdom Death. Frosthaven is better than Gloomhaven, right? We've seen some duelers in the lines of, I'll make the argument, Gosu X. We've seen the lines of exceed their predecessors in terms of battle comp, at least personal preferences aside. But when you distill it down to what all these games bring to the table, what you're looking for, right? Pure enjoyment. And to be frank, with a game like this, pure chaos. There is nothing more irritating in a game, though, when you are playing a light, smash and grab, head-to-head, cooperative game with a ton of take that, where you get slogged down by rules, or you get slogged down by playtime of things just overextending themselves because it's a back and forth where, no one's really ever gonna win. And this, again, takes that, funnels it down, concentrates it into the pure essence of why I started playing games in the first place. And so in a sense, it gives me, and I think that's also why I'm a little bit nostalgic in this case, King of Tokyo vibe. Because it takes elements of things that I see in other more complicated games that I enjoy, it simplifies them down to their core of what makes them good in the first place, and it engages you in an incredibly fun, unique way that doesn't overstay its welcome. And that's what you're doing as these wizards with your cards of just absolute chaos, right? Now, they're not all unique. That would be even better. Now, you have about 8 different classes of spells by their schools, if you will. Transformation, cantrips, mutations, attack spells, just everything across the board that all give a different flavor and variety to what you're going to be doing. And you just grab 5 of them in your hand to start off with, and you start slinging. And when I say you start slinging, you start just making the board obsolete, right? Destroying walls, blowing up doors, transforming yourself into a monster that changes the core of your character in the first place. Being able to modify your spell with a different spell that allows you to shoot around corners 180 degrees. So just when you think you're safe, spoilers, you're not. I'm just going to bust down this wall right here and take you out. Or even better, grab your treasure. Because that also is the nice thing. I mentioned earlier that there's only 2 ways to win. 2 points. 2 ways to win. One Just kill another sorcerer. Get a point. Boom. There you go. 2. These little treasures. Everybody has 2 of them. Get them back to your home base. Not your own home base, but home base over there. That's it. Now, I can try and retrieve my own treasure and bring it back, but it doesn't overcomplicate things in terms of the pickup, the dropping off, the delivering. It's, you got 3 movement points, you get 1 attack spell, you get whatever else you can do. You draw up to 2 cards at the end of your turn. Anything you got going out spell-wise that stays in front of you permanently, because, you know, the other benefit of these is, you know, some things like Acid Bath will just stay out there and do 2 damage per turn to the targeted wizard. Or some things like Speedstone will give you an upgraded movement every single turn. Now, stones, being their affinity or, you know, weakness for fire, they all get blown up if you get hit by fire damage. So that seems to be a running theme, is that things are just flammable in this game. But these that stay out in front of you count for your total hand of 7. So between in front of you and in your hand, you have to mitigate what you're going to be able to do. And when you strike becomes apropos, because you never know what the opponent has with all of these different classes. Now, you can go with what they recommend of 4 different schools of magic to begin with, or they give you variants in the rule book to just go crazy with. And that's kind of the cool thing, is, you know what? None of them will break the game, because, to be frank with you, the game's already broken to begin with. And if it's already broken to begin with, you can't break it in any other way. Now, I won't tell you that this game is perfect, right? This game's not perfect. I love this stuff. I wish there was slightly less duplicates. I mean, you can see here, well, 2 speed stones. I just drew them back to back, right? Now, again, not broken, because now all of a sudden my speed's 5. But I wish that all of these cards were unique. I wish there were no duplicates whatsoever. I think that would just take it to an even crazier, insane level. The other aspect of things that, you know, it's, you know, not really the best on either is the errata. There is a significant amount of, well, edge cases, if you will. And I don't mean just going off of the edge of the board over here or over here and ending up on the other side, because that's what you do. You warp around to the other side. Or I don't mean the fact that you can just rotate these tiles by 90 or 180 degrees to change the exact layout of the board, because don't worry, they still line up exactly how you need them to. But I'm talking about cases where, well, what if this? Is this considered 180, or is this considered more than 180? Or can you actually put something else in this spot here? Is this considered an item that gets dropped? You know, just tons of tokens that go along with it that kind of cloud the picture a little bit. But to be also completely transparent, those clouds, you know, they part very, very quickly, because the overarching rule of fun just takes a hold. And you go, you know what? This is how you do it. We're judging it this way, we're calling it this way, and we're going on. And boom, there you go. You're back to it. 30 minutes, 4 players, head to head. This is not a stalemate game. This is not a turtle game. This is, however, you know, an unbalanced game. It is. The last game we played, you know, person who wasn't involved in any battles, snuck in, grabbed 2 treasures, left. The other 3 were, you know, fighting, duking it out, throwing fireballs at the ceiling, trying to nuke themselves while nuking their opponents, and, you know, they were left high and dry in the end. But, you know, I don't play this game to win. I play this game for the story that it tells. I play this game for the enjoyment that I get out of causing chaos on a board in the first place. For the cool moves of comboing things that I can do now that I have an energy to superpower my globe of death that travels around corners up to 6 spaces away. That is the story I like to remember from the last game. Not, oh, yeah, who won? Don't have a clue. And that right there is a hallmark of an amazing game. Who cares who won, but the story that comes out of it. And that's why this works as well as it does. Yeah, you got your home base. Yeah, you got your 2 treasures that you're guarding that get moved, picked up, and dropped around. Yeah, you're going to have stones that you're going to be literally throwing, well, in the game sense, that your opponent is then going to pick up and back and throw at you. So, tactical matters. Strategy, toss it out the window, because the next 2 cards you get from this draw pile may completely change what you want to do. So, you never know what your opponent has in store for you as well. Because, counterspell, anybody? There you go. Biggest complaint? You can get a copy of the base game for about $50 in the secondary market right now. The expansions, though, that apparently even elevate the game even further, Malefic Curses and Bestial Forces, practically unavailable. And so that's just the question of, if you love it as much as I do you dare seek out more? Siren's Song is what we're talking about here, folks. And Steven Jackson Games is in the process of delivering a 9th edition, which will be in retail shortly. But we'll see, because this isn't just a case of nostalgia, folks. This is a case of a game that has stood the test of time, and I wish more people could play because it's that good. There you go. Wiz War, 8th edition. I love this game. I love this game. This is super annoying, and you have no idea how annoying. My kids use this all the time. So annoying. Yet, totally works for this video. Stay classy. See you around.